Online dating is a consumer culture phenomenon that has over the years become a staple in modern dating culture. Let us explore the societal implications of this phenomenon from two conflicting perspectives: behavioral decision theory and consumer culture theory. We cordially invite you to a behind-the-scenes journey through Tinder's executive boardroom. Let's take a peek under the hood.
HR really did a good job with chairs.
I mean, they cut into it like if I just lean back like this, but...
Fellas, we gotta get our act together. We've been running this company for, 9 goddamn years, and somehow we haven't got a single match, not a single date. Greg, draw that BDT model we were discussing last week. I don't understand. We have statistical forecasts, we have empirical data, we've even fucking visualized consumer behavior into a standardized model. Guys, we offer a high involvement service, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
So that means users put in a lot of time and effort into making a rational and informed consumption decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great, we're on the same page. Explain the process to us, Greg.
Okay, so it's a really simple model. It's a sequential decision model, and these 5 steps are followed by every consumer. So first, the consumer identifies the problem, that they're lonely. Then the information search starts and they begin looking for partners, which is the second. Thirdly, you evaluate the alternatives and start selection and maybe some kind of interaction with them. Then we have the consumption stage. The 5th and final step is the evaluation. So if the interaction went well, it will lead to something else. And if it did not, well, then you simply start over from the beginning.
That's right, Greg. Now we're stuck in what I like to call the eternal loop. It is a constant state of reaction that occurs since the final consumption stage is reciprocal. It all depends on a corresponding gesture from a partner that has gone through an identical behavioral model. If the user isn't present within another user's search for partners, then they never get the text back, and they'll be stuck in the eternal loop.
And these budget cuts have been really rough. But like, I've been stuck in that fucking loop since like day one. It's been years at this point.
Don't worry, we'll get you out soon enough. Trust me, this model is universal.
I have 2 questions. I always had a hard time visualizing the process practically. What does it look like in real life?
Well, see, it's actually really easy. It's just like buying any other high involvement consumer good. Like, for example, a car, but it's a romantic partner.
Yikes!
So basically, instead of looking at different car dealerships, consumers choose which dating app suits them the most based on their preferences. And then, instead of looking at different car models, we have the swiping process, where users make compatibility judgments.
So, the texting stage, where they get to know each other, it's like taking a car for a test drive to see if it's the right fit.
Exactly. What makes this model so good is that it's applicable to any consumer situation. There is only one important distinction here, though.
Certain high-volume users use heuristic rules of thumb to engage in this entire process instead of spending as much time on each step. For these users, the process becomes a bit more standardized and almost instinctive. These users also have clearly predefined breakpoints that automatically eliminate potential partners from the process, speeding everything up significantly and facilitating high-volume usage.
So, what was your second question again?
Oh, who the fuck is that guy?
Oh, I'm just here for the fucking coffee. Which is shit, by the way.
Hey, we're going through a rough spot, okay? We have been trying to figure out why the model isn't working when we try to apply it on ourselves. So certain aspects here in the office have taken a hit. And yes, unfortunately, we have done some budget cuts. The quality of the coffee is one of those things. And the same as my suit, it's thrift shop. Look, we probably just have to revisit our model and adjust the variables a little. This standardized model, it's foolproof. We're just missing something.
You guys buy this shit? This clown has no fucking idea what he's talking about. You want to see some real action? I have 3 words for you, alright? Consumer culture theory. Shit's off the rails.
What are you talking about now?
Alright, pay attention, guys. That model is bullshit. Okay, Tinder users aren't rational consumers. You think these people have perfect information and are micromanaging every single aspect of their consumption decisions? Hell no. It's all about symbolism with a service like this, with a service like Tinder, right? You gotta keep symbolic value and existential consumption in mind. In our consumer culture, we're as motivated by symbolic features of consumption as actual functional features. Here, there's an interesting overlap. The high speed and convenient access to partners that is provided by Tinder are functional value propositions, but they stand for something else. They reflect the mindset of the consumer, a fast-paced, exciting life on the edge of polyamory, which reflects current societal values, especially towards consumer goods. What characteristics do you guys think Tinder represents?
Love? Sex?
Promiscuity?
Really, man?
See, symbolism is subjective. Following a rigid model to predict the behavioral patterns of something as emotionally charged as love, sex, and relationships will always be a struggle. See, people have different goals, aspirations, and dreams when it comes to using dating apps, right?
Right. Some people are looking for long-term relationships, which reflects in their usage patterns.
Mhm.
It's a more slow-paced and careful process. Kind of like the BDT model you showed us earlier, Greg.
Exactly. Thanks, Greg. Users communicate different symbolic values depending on their Tinder usage. This can lead to misunderstandings. People may assume you're looking for something quick and casual, or vice versa, while that may not be the case at all, which can lead to inaccurate associations to your personality.
So this is where existential consumption comes in.
Exactly. A huge part of consumer culture is communicating who we are and who we want to be, which is very relevant for the online dating phenomenon. Tinder users' consumption reflects which social groups they deem attractive and wish to belong to. People in relationships and people who are sexually active. And you got to think about the macro social factors too, like liquid society. Many consumers just aren't confident enough to make long-term commitments anymore, because relationships, just like material belongings, make moving complicated.
Yeah, man. You might have a point. Maybe this is why we're not getting any matches. Maybe we completely misunderstood how our consumers think. This is kind of messed up if you think about it.
What is?
This online dating phenomenon is just a marketization of love and relationships, isn't it? It's our entire business model built on short, unsustainable relationships. We want people to break up so they can use our app more often.
Yeah, but don't forget all the people that have found love for Tinder. We've had a positive impact too.
That's true, but let's be real here. We haven't just created a dating service. We marketize relationships to allow our consumers to commodify themselves.
Come to think of it, the fact that you even offer premium features is kind of messed up too. You're encouraging users to spend money to increase the chances of entering a relationship.
People spend money all the time to become more attractive. Ever heard of the fashion industry?
Steve, remember that girl from Indonesia you hit it off with?
Oh yeah, I told her I liked your feet, and then for some reason she just blocked me last week.
Fuck, why would you tell her that? Alright, that's not the point. You never would have met anyone from across the world like that if it wasn't for the global aspect of online dating, right?
Crazy how globalization affects relationships and, online dating affects globalization.
Absolutely.
Never thought about it in that way. The globalization of both dating culture and dating practices has taken place at a faster rate because of online dating. There are more opportunities to meet people from different backgrounds, and long distance relationships are a thing now.
Great point, coffee guy.
But wait, there's more. The cultural intermingling from globalization acts as the counterbalance to the polarization you guys create. The rift between your user demographics, men and women, polygamists, monogamists, and even a parents-based polarization.
Holy shit, man. That's really deep.
And then there's digitalization. It's the main driving force behind the entire app economy and this whole consumer phenomenon. All of this is only possible because of the technological advancements.
Well, damn, what an interesting workplace. What insights did we gain from this, though? Maybe that CCT is the obvious choice for getting a deeper understanding of consumer behavior. That doesn't necessarily mean that BDT is obsolete, though. A little bit of structure can be useful. Maybe that the Tinder business model and the marketization of consumers themselves should be problematized. Or maybe even a brief understanding of the interdependence of polarization, globalization, and digitalization, and how they relate to the consumer culture phenomenon that is online dating.